Have you ever felt like your relationship with your children or in-laws is taking unexpected turns, despite your best intentions? Or perhaps you found yourself at a crossroads, trying to balance your desires with your family's expectations? If you're retired or nearing retirement, and the pressure to do the right thing feels overwhelming, this video is for you. In this video, we're going to explore a story that dives into some of the most common and complex challenges faced by retirees. Balancing personal happiness with family responsibilities, managing the expectations of others, and navigating the emotional roller coaster of family dynamics. I'll be sharing the poignant, at times surprising journey of a 56-year-old woman whose retirement dreams collided with family conflicts in ways that turned her life upside down. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be caught between living for yourself and being there for your loved ones, or if you've ever struggled with feeling unappreciated, despite the sacrifices you've made for your family, you're going to find some valuable insights here. Stay with me as we unfold how this woman faced an incredibly tough decision, how a simple act of kindness sparked a series of emotional revelations, and why understanding these family dynamics could completely reshape the way you approach your relationships. By the end of this video, you'll have learned crucial lessons about self-care, setting healthy boundaries, and how to handle the pressure of family obligations without losing your peace of mind. These insights could help you avoid unnecessary conflict and build healthier, more fulfilling relationships as you navigate your journey into later life. You won't want to miss how this story unfolds, so stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend hitting that subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. Your support means so much to me, and if you found this video helpful, feel free to share it with others who might benefit from these important lessons. And if you're enjoying the topic of this video, please leave a comment with 1. If you think there's room for improvement, feel free to comment 0, and let me know how I can make better videos for you. Now, let's get started. One person who eats a lot of healthy, green foods shared an example from my village. A 99-year-old woman is living there who remains in remarkable health, moving with the vitality of someone much younger. If you didn't know her age, you'd likely guess she was somewhere in her 50s or 60s. Curious about her secret to staying so healthy, I asked her directly. To my surprise, she didn't attribute her longevity to any special diet or exercise regimen. Instead, she simply grows her vegetables and raises her chickens. Whether it's the fresh produce or eggs, she takes care of it all herself, ensuring she has access to clean, safe food every day. This simple, self-sustaining lifestyle seems to be her secret, and it's a reminder that sometimes the basics are all we need for optimal health. Looking ahead, the model of elder care in rural areas could become more popular. While it's not yet widespread, it seems to be slowly gaining traction, and I believe it will continue to grow. In rural communities, older adults often remain in the towns they've known their whole lives, and more retirees from cities are beginning to follow suit by renting homes or buying land in the countryside. This trend is not just about escaping the hustle and bustle of urban life. It's about gaining access to fresh, healthy food that's grown locally. For many, it also offers the opportunity to support their children, who may live in the city, by creating a place where they can gather or even provide them with fresh, homegrown food. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement that is helping older adults thrive in their later years while also supporting their families back home. 2. Sleep well. I once had a conversation with a 102-year-old woman who shared a powerful piece of wisdom that has stuck with me. The reason I've lived such a long life is because I truly value my sleep. Even when I was younger, I made it a priority to go to bed on time. I never took rest for granted. She went on to explain that as we age, our sleep patterns naturally change, but that doesn't mean we should let those changes throw us off. Our sleep habits should be as adaptable as the strategies of a military operation or the ever-flowing movement of water, constantly adjusting to what we need. Once I figured out my ideal sleep schedule, I stuck with it, using all the methods I could to prevent insomnia. It's all about ensuring that you sleep deeply, all night long. She emphasized that the benefits of good sleep go beyond just feeling rested. Quality sleep is like working hard on a project or truly enjoying life. It's essential to your well-being. When you sleep, your mind must be calm and free of stressful or anxious thoughts. Quality sleep recharges you, like plugging in your phone or electric car. When you have a fully charged battery, you'll be able to go further, just like an electric car with a full charge. In a world where so many of us are constantly on the go, it's easy to underestimate the power of a good night's sleep. But as we see from this remarkable woman's experience, prioritizing sleep is one of the most important things you can do for your health and longevity. 3. Moderate exercise and a happy attitude. A wise piece of advice I received came from a group of older adults in my community who, like many others, have lived long, healthy lives. Maybe it's because of the environment, one of them said, but we're surrounded by people here who are all living well into their 90s, and many well beyond. We often gather at the local park to exercise and chat with each other, enjoying the fresh air and sharing stories. We've learned that, in life, it's important not to sweat the small stuff. Worrying over the little things or holding on to unnecessary stress only weighs us down. He added, when you look at life from a bigger perspective, you realize it's short, only about 30,000 days, give or take. That may sound like a lot, but it's not when you think about all the things you still want to experience. By focusing on reasonable health practices, like moderate exercise, and maintaining a calm spirit, you can avoid both physical and emotional illnesses. It's not about striving for perfection. It's about creating a balanced, peaceful life. He smiled and continued, the truth is always simpler than we think. We fill our lives with knowledge, advice, and self-help books, but the real secret to a long, fulfilling life can often be summed up in just a few words. Exercise and keep a joyful heart. When your body and mind work in harmony, longevity isn't just something you hope for. It becomes something inevitable. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become caught up in the demands of work, family, and daily responsibilities. But as this community member reminds us, prioritizing our physical health and mental well-being is essential. It's not about going to extremes. It's about moderation and finding joy in the small, everyday moments. 4. Don't make these 6 mistakes in retirement. One of the most important pieces of advice I can offer as you enter retirement is to avoid certain pitfalls that many retirees fall into. The first mistake I want to highlight is the temptation to seek a new relationship in your later years. It's natural to have more time on your hands when you retire. You might find that you have more disposable income, a lighter schedule, and the freedom to explore new hobbies. For some, this newfound freedom can lead them to consider seeking a new romantic partner. After all, with more time for travel, social events, and self-reflection, the idea of finding someone to spend your remaining years with may seem appealing. However, I strongly advise against rushing into a new relationship. No matter how dissatisfied you might feel with your current marriage, or how appealing the idea of starting fresh might be, seeking a new partner in retirement can lead to more complications than benefits. Relationships in your later years often don't work out the way you might hope. Many new partnerships are fleeting or come with hidden agendas. The person you've been with for 20, 30, or more years is likely the most sincere and loving person you'll find. The deep connection you've built over the years is a rare and valuable thing. Think about it. You've shared countless experiences, built a life together, and weathered challenges along the way. At this stage of life, it's not about chasing something new or perfect. It's about nurturing the relationship you've already worked hard to build. The love and respect you've established over time is more precious than any fleeting excitement a new relationship might bring. So, instead of seeking out a new partner, focus on strengthening the relationship you already have. Cherish the memories you've built together and continue to grow together in your retirement years. Don't risk losing the one person who truly knows and loves you for who you are. 5. Don't be overly perfectionist in taking care of your health. As we age, maintaining good health and striving for longevity naturally become priorities. We read books, watch health videos, and perhaps even join fitness classes or wellness programs, all in the hopes of keeping our bodies in the best possible condition. It's great to care about your health, but there's an important balance to strike. First and foremost, don't fall into the trap of obsessing over every little detail of your health routine. Yes, it's important to eat well, but that doesn't mean you need to follow the latest fad diet or count every calorie meticulously. Simply focus on the basics. Eat 3 balanced meals a day, incorporating a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables. Limit red meat and processed foods, and make sure to include healthy fats, whole grains, and lean proteins in your meals. Moderate exercise is also key. Whether it's walking, swimming, or even light weightlifting, regular physical activity can go a long way in helping you stay strong and flexible. You don't have to train for a marathon or spend hours at the gym. Just find something that keeps you moving and makes you feel good. Annual checkups with your doctor are a must to catch potential health issues early, but there's no need to overdo it with supplements or extreme health regimens. Occasionally taking vitamins or eating nutrient-dense foods like leafy greens, nuts, and seeds can provide a boost, but avoid falling for the hype around miracle cures or overpriced health products. Unfortunately, many of these so-called miracle supplements are just scams preying on people's desire to stay healthy and live longer. Remember, your health journey doesn't need to be perfect. Just focus on consistent, sensible habits, things that are sustainable and don't add unnecessary stress. Perfectionism in health can lead to burnout, anxiety, and unnecessary spending. Keep it simple, and make wellness a part of your daily life without getting caught up in the next trendy supplement or health craze. 6. Don't sell your house to help your children. One of the most common mistakes I've seen older adults make, especially when their children are struggling financially, is selling their homes to lend them a hand. While it's natural to want to support your children, I strongly advise against selling your house to do so. Your home is more than just a place to live, it's your sanctuary, your final refuge. Once you sell your home, you give up not only the physical space but also your sense of security. The house that once belonged to you, the one you worked hard to buy and maintain, is no longer yours. That security and independence are incredibly important as you age. Take, for example, a couple in their 70s from my neighborhood. They decided to sell their home to help their son purchase a new house in the city. They planned to move in with him and enjoy their retirement together. But within just 2 years, their situation took a turn. Their son and daughter-in-law, who initially welcomed them, ended up asking them to leave. The couple was left without a place to stay and had to return to their old house in the countryside. This story serves as a cautionary tale. While your intention to help your children is admirable, selling your home to do so can leave you vulnerable. You may end up without a place to live or, worse, dependent on others for support when you need it most. Before making such a drastic decision, consider the long-term implications. Your home is more than just a roof over your head. It's a foundation for your peace of mind in your later years. Instead of selling your home, explore other ways to help your children. Whether that means offering emotional support, helping with smaller financial contributions, or simply being a source of guidance. Protect your independence and security, and make sure you're setting yourself up for a peaceful and stable retirement. 7. Don't play cards all the time just to pass the time. It's not uncommon for retirees to seek out ways to keep themselves occupied during their free time, and for many, playing cards can be a fun and social activity. It's a great way to pass the time and even keep your mind sharp. But there's a fine line between a casual game and an activity that takes over your day-to-day life. While card games can be a healthy social outlet, playing cards excessively, especially every day, can lead to unintended consequences. For some, it can even spiral into gambling addiction, regardless of how much money they have. The thrill of winning or the rush of taking risks can become a pattern, and before long, what started as a harmless hobby can turn into something much more serious. Additionally, excessive card playing can cause emotional fluctuations that negatively impact your health. If you become too invested in the outcomes of games, or if the tension of competition builds up over time, it can elevate your stress levels, leading to an increased risk of heart problems, high blood pressure, or even strokes. It's important to remember that mental health and emotional balance are just as crucial as physical health as we age. Beyond the physical risks, card games that are played too frequently can also create distance in relationships. If you're spending hours at the card table instead of engaging with your family or participating in other activities, it can lead to feelings of isolation and detachment. Loved ones may begin to feel neglected, and you might miss out on valuable opportunities to build deeper connections with those around you. So, while playing cards now and then can be a fun way to engage your mind and bond with friends or family, it's important not to let it become a daily routine. Balance is key. Instead, find a variety of activities that contribute to your well-being. Whether it's taking a walk, learning a new hobby, or simply spending time with family and friends. Life is too short to let one habit dominate your days. 8. Don't build a retirement house in the countryside. For many retirees, the idea of returning to their hometowns and building a retirement house is a tempting one. There's a certain nostalgia that comes with the thought of returning to the place where you grew up, surrounded by familiar landscapes and a slower pace of life. However, building a retirement home in the countryside may not be the best decision for everyone, and it's important to weigh the pros and cons carefully. While it's completely understandable to want to reconnect with your roots, it's essential to consider the practical realities of living in a rural area during your retirement years. If you already have a house in the city, it might be better to use your savings to secure your retirement lifestyle rather than spend a large portion of it on building a home in the countryside. The cost of construction, land, and upkeep in a rural area can quickly add up, and you may find yourself spending more than you anticipated, leaving you with less financial flexibility in your later years. Additionally, the conveniences of city living, especially as we age, can't be overlooked. Cities typically offer better access to healthcare services, which is especially important as you grow older. Having top-notch medical care nearby, as well as convenient transportation, grocery stores, and entertainment, can make a huge difference in your quality of life. In rural areas, access to healthcare might be limited, and you may find yourself traveling long distances for even basic services. Furthermore, cities tend to have more options for social engagement and activities that cater to older adults, from senior centers to community events. Being isolated in the countryside might seem peaceful at first, but it can quickly lead to loneliness, especially if you're no longer able to drive or if your social circle is limited. A city provides opportunities to stay connected with others, enjoy a variety of activities, and remain engaged in community life. Ultimately, while it's tempting to return to the countryside, it's important to think about the long-term implications. Instead of spending all your savings on a new house far from your current support system, consider how you can make the most of what you already have. Focus on securing your financial future, prioritizing access to healthcare, and staying socially active in the city. Your retirement years are precious, and planning wisely will ensure that you enjoy them to the fullest. 9. Don't visit relatives and friends too often to reminisce. After retirement, many older adults find themselves with more free time, and a common way to fill that time is by visiting friends and relatives to reminisce about the good old days. While these visits can be enjoyable and help maintain connections, it's important to keep things in balance. Visiting too often, especially in today's world with busy traffic and the potential for stress, can have its drawbacks. First, constant visits can be unsafe, particularly if you're driving long distances or in areas with heavy traffic. It's also important to remember that not everyone enjoys frequent visits. Over time, what started as a friendly gesture can turn into an obligation or a source of frustration for others. Relationships that were once easy and joyful can become strained when visits feel too frequent or pressured. Instead of focusing on frequent visits, it's better to spend quality time with your loved ones when you can. Quality time means deeper, more meaningful interactions that allow you to bond, share experiences, and build memories, rather than just reminiscing. By creating intentional moments of connection, you ensure that you leave a positive impact and avoid misunderstandings that could arise from too much time spent together in close quarters. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. After retirement, if you want to enjoy a healthy and happy life, it's crucial to take care of your finances, your home, and your relationship with your life partner. Even though life may slow down in retirement, it's important to avoid these common pitfalls. By focusing on balance, practicality, and mindful decision-making, you can make the most of your later years. A 56-year-old woman's advice on retirement. At 56 years old, I've been retired for over a year. When I first retired, I was filled with excitement about all the places I wanted to explore. I traveled every month, enjoying new sights and experiences across the country. Those months were fun, but they came with a significant financial cost. Each trip, even the smaller ones, ended up costing several $1,000s, with some trips adding up to tens of thousands. For a family like ours, where I was a civil servant and my husband worked in a technical role for a state-owned company, this was no small amount. My monthly pension wasn't very high, just over $250 a month, and my husband's salary was modest too, around $350 to $400. A few years back, we had used up most of our savings to pay for our son's wedding. Since then, we had to be very careful with our finances, only recently managing to set aside a small amount. But after I retired, I got so caught up in my travels that my savings quickly dwindled. What I hadn't realized was how much my wanderlust was chipping away at our financial cushion. Now, looking back, I realized the importance of balancing enjoyment with financial responsibility. In retirement, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of newfound freedom. But the reality is, without careful planning, your savings can disappear faster than you think. It's important to enjoy your time and adventures, but it's equally important to stay grounded and ensure that your financial foundation remains strong. That way, you can continue to live comfortably and without worry for years to come. My husband, Jack, wasn't happy to see our savings dwindling. Every time I came back from another trip, he would express his concerns. He would often say, "We're not exactly rich. You can't keep spending all the money on yourself without considering our future." I would respond, "I've never had many pleasures in life except for traveling. When I was working, I barely had the time to go anywhere. But now that I'm retired, I want to visit all the places I've dreamed about for years. I worked hard my whole life, and in my later years, I didn't want to be obsessed with saving every penny. I want to live my life and enjoy my time." Even though Jack continued to voice his concerns, I thought I wasn't doing anything wrong. Traveling brought me so much joy, and I felt it was my time to finally experience the world. But one day, when he said, "If you don't stop traveling, I might divorce you," I was completely shocked. We had been together for decades, building a life and a family. The idea of losing him, of facing the possibility of spending the rest of my life alone, hit me hard. That moment made me realize that, as much as I loved traveling, I also loved my husband deeply, and I didn't want to lose the happiness of our family life. Slowly, I began to understand that he wasn't being selfish by asking me to stop. He was looking out for our future, too. Jack had always said, "Those who don't plan will regret it when they get older." He was worried that as we age, we would need more money for healthcare and daily living expenses, and without any savings, we could be in serious trouble. Despite his frustrations with my travels, Jack had always been kind-hearted. He'd make sure I had the best food and would always wait for me to eat before he touched his plate. His selflessness had always been part of who he was. Jack was a good man, and that was when I truly realized I couldn't risk losing him over something like this. So, I decided to give up my travels and focus on my family instead. Every day, I became dedicated to taking care of our home, cooking, cleaning, and making sure everything was in order. At first, I tried to adjust to this new rhythm of staying home, but soon, the days began to feel long and monotonous. Time seemed to drag, and I found myself growing restless and bored. Jack worked all day, and I was left at home with no one to talk to. A few times, I tried calling my best friend, but she would quickly hang up, telling me she was busy with her responsibilities, cooking and cleaning at her son's house. It became clear that even my closest friendships weren't as fulfilling as they used to be. That's when I realized that instead of staying at home and being bored, I could go help my son, David, and his wife, Emily. They had been married for 6 years, but despite their efforts, they still didn't have children. I suspected the stress from work and their irregular eating habits might have something to do with it. The next morning, I decided to surprise them by bringing over some breakfast. I packed a bag with freshly made steamed buns and soy milk and headed to their house without telling them in advance. When I arrived, they were surprised to see me so early. I smiled and said, "I just brought you some breakfast. Here are some hot steamed buns I made yesterday. Enjoy." David looked at me with a puzzled expression and asked, "Mom, what's going on? You've never done this before." Emily, on the other hand, was happy to accept a bun and praised my cooking. "Wow, Mom, these buns are really good. You're such a great cook." Her compliment warmed my heart, and I responded, "If you like them, I'll come over every day to cook, clean, and help out." But Emily quickly waved her hand and said, "No, Mom, don't worry. We can manage. You don't have to do this." I insisted, "You two are always at work. You don't have time to clean, and eating takeout all the time isn't healthy. You need to eat more nutritious food if you want to have children. Starting tomorrow, I'll come over and take care of things until I hold my grandchild in my arms." I asked my son, David, to register my fingerprint with the door's biometric system so I could come and go from their house as needed. At first, he hesitated, but after a moment, he agreed. From that point on, I started coming over every day to help with cooking, cleaning, and grocery shopping. By the afternoon, I'd hang the laundry out on the rooftop to dry. But one day, as I went up to collect the laundry, I was shocked to find that all the clothes and blankets had disappeared. I searched everywhere, on the roof, in the laundry area, and the house, but they were nowhere to be found. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. When my son and daughter-in-law, Emily, came home, I told them what had happened and asked if they could check if anyone in the neighborhood had accidentally taken the clothes. My son immediately scolded me. "Why didn't you ask us first?" he snapped. "There are a lot of renters around here, and people have had their clothes stolen before." My daughter-in-law, too, wasn't happy. "Do you know how much those clothes cost? Some of them were designer pieces. They're gone now, and I can't replace them." I was taken aback. I had never known clothes could cost that much. I thought to myself, why would anyone buy such expensive things? But I couldn't help myself from speaking up. When you have children, you need to know how to save. Money isn't easy to come by, I said. Don't waste it on things like this. I could tell I had overstepped, and quickly excused myself, feeling awkward and uncomfortable. At home, Jack was waiting for me to cook dinner. He had never learned to cook, and if I didn't return, he'd probably go hungry. But what lingered in my mind was the shift in my daughter-in-law's attitude. She had always greeted me warmly before, but now she barely acknowledged my presence. She became distant and cold, and hardly spoke to me. At first, I thought maybe she was just stressed from work. But over time, I realized her behavior change wasn't just because of that. One day, while I was cleaning their bedroom, I accidentally came across a drawer that was usually locked. This time, however, it was left open. Inside, I found birth control pills and a box of condoms. I was stunned. All this time, I had been waiting for a grandchild, but it seemed my son and daughter-in-law were actively avoiding having children. I couldn't believe it. That evening, when they returned home, I confronted them directly. You both know how much I want a grandchild, I said. my voice shaking with emotion. "Why are you deliberately preventing it? It's so unfair to me." Emily started crying, embarrassed and angry. "Mom, you have no right to go through our things. Why are you making a scene? Everyone can hear you." But I was furious. "I'm doing this because I care about you both," I replied. "You're both nearly 30. You need to have a child soon, or it'll be too late." Without thinking, I grabbed the pills and condoms from the drawer and threw them at them. "From now on," I said, my voice rising, "if I find these in your house again, I won't stay quiet." As we've seen in this story, navigating relationships, retirement, and the changes that come with age is a delicate balance. From understanding the importance of financial planning to setting boundaries with family, the lessons shared today can help us all live more fulfilling, thoughtful lives. So, what have you learned so far? I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this story that you plan to bring into your own life? Please comment below and share your thoughts with me. I always enjoy reading your reflections. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your comment, and please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Your support means the world to me, and it helps us bring more valuable lessons your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.